Hi, everybody, and welcome to Dr. D's 5-minute lecture series. Today, I'm going to be talking about fine tuning arguments for the existence of God. All right, got my timer ready. Here we go. Now, fine tuning arguments are an updated version of the argument for design, or from design for God's existence. I talked about in my last video, the basic structure of the design argument is that when we see all the complexity in the world, in the same way that we would see, say, the complexity in a watch, we can infer that there must be some intelligent designer who created the universe in the same way that it took an intelligent designer to make a watch. Now, since Darwin and his theory of evolution, these kind of arguments, especially in terms of, say, biological complexity, no longer carry much weight. But in contemporary times, all the way up until right now, we see an updated version of the design argument, which is known as the argument for fine tuning. So there are a number of main differences that we see between traditional arguments from design and fine tuning arguments. So one of these is that fine tuning appeals to general examples of fine tuning or overall order rather than to specific cases of biological complexity or adaptiveness. Fine tuning primarily emphasizes facts in physics, astronomy, and chemistry rather than facts in the life sciences. So, as I said, evolution sort of messed up these arguments. A third way that they differ is that fine tuning makes little appeal to scientific purpose, but rather emphasizes only the general purpose of producing life or intelligent life. A fourth difference is that fine tuning arguments are not primarily arguments from analogy, but inference to the best explanation. And this is what's known as abductive arguments. And number 5, most fine tuning arguments emphasize the cosmic constants or the fundamental constants of physics. So, for example, in physics, we have gravitational constant, we have the speed of light, we have the strong force, weak force, electromagnetism, basic properties of elementary particles such as mass, charge, spin. We have Planck's constant, etc., etc. Now, if any one of them were changed even slightly, life as we know it would not have emerged. So, for example, astronomers have discovered amazing isopatry, that is, smoothness or evenness in the known universe. Now, the background temperature and distribution of matter are incredibly smooth throughout. Even extremely slight variations to this would have made life as we know it impossible. One thinker, for example, named Paul Davies, places the odds against a starry cosmos at 1, followed by 1,000 billion zeros at least. Right? So values of these constants appear to be independent of each other. Thus, most fine-tuning arguments conclude that what we have here is either a grand coincidence so mathematically improbable as to be virtually impossible, or else evidence of fine-tuning by an intelligent designer whose aim was the emergence of life, perhaps even intelligent, conscious, morally aware life. I say that's a quote from Paul Davies again. So what we see here is that looking at fine-tuning attempts to look at the laws of physics and the cosmos at large and say this incredible complexity and fine-tuning of the universe makes it extremely unlikely that all of this happened simply by accident. Now, there are a number of important objections to the fine-tuning argument, and I will give you just two very quickly. One of them is known as the anthropic principle that says, given that we exist, we should not be surprised to observe values that are compatible with our existence. In other words, we should not be surprised that we observe a universe with laws and constants that allow for intelligent life. But shouldn't we be surprised by the fact that the extremely improbable conditions for life were all, in fact, satisfied? Now, another possible answer to this, just about out of time, is the many universe hypothesis, which proposes that rather than there being just one universe, that there's an infinite number of other universes, and all of them might have different laws of physics and might be finely tuned differently, and we just happen to be in one where intelligent life has emerged. But I'm out of time, so that's it for another episode of Dr. D's 5-minute lecture series on the fine-tuning argument. Bye.